Tonight's lesson is about multiplying decimals. The other lesson that we had was on multiplying whole numbers, so this is just an extension of it. Multiplying decimals is the very same exact thing as multiplying whole numbers, but it's important to remember where the decimal point goes in the product. Another name for the product is the answer. The decimal point is really important. Without that, you'll have an entirely different number. The steps to multiply decimals are the same no matter which method you use, but the most important step is to remember that you have to put a decimal point in your answer. If you remember in the other video, there were two ways that you could, among others, multiply. First of all, if you use the multiplying by place value method, you'll still break apart the numbers by place value and then at the end add them all together. Here's an example. Let's say that we have 62 times 7/10. First thing that you do is you would break 62 down into 60 and then 2. Now, you would multiply this by 7. Now, you're thinking, well, Miss Huebner, it says 7/10, decimal 7. We'll place that decimal point in the answer later, so don't worry about it now. Okay, so 60 and 2. First thing we'll do is multiply by 60 and 7. So 6 times 7 is 42. Here's a 0, put the 0. Then we'll take the 2, because we broke it down by place value. 2 times 7 is 14. Now, we add it together, and we get this. Now, we're not finished. Not finished. Now, since the decimal point here in 7/10 is one place value to the left, in other words, instead of being here, it's one place value over, we're going to put the decimal point one place value to the left in our answer. So instead of the decimal point being here, we will move it to here. And our answer would not be 434, but 43 and 4/10. So however many place values your decimal point has been moved over to the left is how many you'll go in your answer or your product, okay? And you'll notice that it's one place value over here, so here we put it over one place value. Here's another example. This is still the using the place value, multiplying by place value. 24 times 2 3/10. First thing, break apart the 24 into 20 and 4. Then what you'll do is break this apart. For right now, we'll think of it as 23. We'll ignore the decimal for now, and we'll make this into 20 and 3, and then we'll multiply. So 20 times 20 would be 400. 2 times 2 is 4. And you have 1, 2 zeros, so you put 1, 2 zeros in your answer. Then 20 times 3. 20 times 3. And that would be 60, because 2 times 3 is 6, plus a 0 is 60. Then we take the 4 of 24. 4 times 20. You have to make sure you don't leave any steps out. 4 times 20 is 80. 4 times 2 is 8. Here's a 0. Add it in there. 80. And then 4 times 3, which is 12. Then I add all of that together, and I get what looks like 552. But because the decimal point has been moved over a place value, it used to be here if that was a whole number. It's been moved over one place value. We will move it from here to here, one place value. And make sure that you put the decimal point into your answer. That is, I just can't tell you how crucial that is, to put it into your answer. So our answer would be, instead of 552, 55 2/10, because we placed our decimal point into the answer. Now, if you don't care for this particular method, there is the plain old standard algorithm method that we mentioned in the other video. And this is just a set of steps to help you remember how to do the multiplication process. Now, if you choose to do this, you would multiply the numbers just as you usually would, and then you would place the decimal point in your product or your answer. So the first thing you do is you multiply the ones place. So you would say 9 times 2 is 18. Regroup your 1. 9 times 4, I'm still on this ones place. 9 times 4 is 36, plus 1 is 37. Now, don't forget the 0 at the beginning of the second line. Because we're no longer multiplying by the ones place, we're moving over here, pretend that's not there for right now, to the tens place. So we have to move our answer over here, our partial product, into the tens place. And putting a 0 there just helps you to remember to scoot it over. Then you're going to multiply by the tens place. 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 4 is 4. At the end, you're going to add it together. This would be 8, 9, and 7. Don't forget the decimal point. Because this decimal point has been moved over one place value, you'll do the same thing here. It would have been here. Now it's here. So our answer is 79 and 8/10. Here's another example. You'll notice I didn't put the steps. I'm just going to talk you through it. All right. Now, you might be saying, oh, wait, we got a decimal on the top. Doesn't matter. It really does not matter. Multiply just as normal. 5 times 3 is 15. Regroup your 1. 3 times 3 is 9, plus 1 is 10. All right, we've multiplied everything we can by the ones place. Put our 0, so we scoot ourselves over, and let's start with the tens. 6 times 5 is 30. I'm going to mark that out because I don't need it anymore. 6 times 3 is 18, plus 3 is 21. All right, I'm completely done with everything I can multiply here. So I'm going to add it together, and this becomes 5, 0, 2, and 2. Now, before we go anywhere else, remember to place the decimal point in the answer only. You don't put it here. You don't put it in your partial products. You put it here in your answer. So this one is 1, 2 place values over. See how there's not, I've moved over 2 places? I'm going to move over 2 places here. 1, 2, and I'm going to put the decimal right here. And my answer is 22 and 5/100ths. And you might be thinking, does it really matter where I put the decimal point? Think of the Walmart cashier. Does it really matter what she typed in there in her cash register? Yes, it does. So, yes, it does. It makes the difference in 220 and 5/10ths and 22 and 5/100ths. Makes a big difference. All right? Don't forget the decimal point. You only put it in the answer. Practice problems for tonight. Show your work. I can't stress that enough. If you show your work, I can kind of find out what's going on if you understand it or not. Show your work either on the back of the homework guide, or if you want to, you can get a sheet of notebook paper, put your work on that, and we can staple it together the next day. All right? Be sure that you write the problem down. You have to write the problem down. Don't just write the answer, because that sort of doesn't mean anything because it has no context. Here's A, 47 times 3/10ths. And here is B, 86/100ths times 59. Be sure to show your work. And if you have any problems tonight, and you can email me, or you can just write it in the questions and comments box of the homework guide and tell me about it tomorrow. We'll discuss it in class tomorrow. Okay? Thank you very much, and good luck.